Hello everyone, welcome to lesson 11 in French. It's reflexive verbs ou les verbes réfléchis aux pronominaux. It's the same thing, c'est les mêmes choses. I'm just going to be saying réfléchis ou reflexive. So yeah, we're going to understand the French reflexive or pronominal verbs in the easiest way. And the goal by the end of this video is to be able to correctly use reflexive or pronominal verbs when writing and or speaking. Partie en l'introduction. So reflexive verbs are used when someone does something to themselves. You need the reflexive pronoun se in French in addition to a subject pronoun to make a sentence with reflexive verb. So for example, je me lève le matin. So it would be in English kind of like I get myself up in the morning. Tu te laves les mains. You wash your own hands. So the reason I'm putting the myself and the own is to indicate that reflexive pronoun. We obviously in English don't say you wash your own hands. You say you wash your hands. It's kind of like a direct translation. And then tu t'appelles Angélie, you call yourself Angélie. In this case, in English, we would say the yourself part. La formule, so the formula is pretty simple. All you need is le sujet, like a person, object, or concept, plus pronom réfléchi, plus le verbe. So ici, I have a chart with all the subjects and then the pronoun, reflexive pronouns, and then any verb you can attach. In this example, I just gave the verb se laver. So for je, the reflexive pronoun would be me, or if it's a vowel of the verb starts with a vowel, you would have M apostrophe. Tu is te, il, elle, ou on, c'est se, comme himself, herself, or oneself in English. Nous is nous, ourselves. Vous, yourselves, and il, elle, pluriel, se, themselves in English. So the verb here, like I said, that I used is se laver, so to wash, right? So it would be like I wash myself, you wash yourself, he, she, or one washes themselves. We wash ourselves, you wash yourselves, and they wash themselves. So some other examples of reflexive verbs or pronominal verbs are the following. So again, it would always be the ones with a se. So for example, here I have se réveiller, se lever. Remember, lever and laver are two different ones. Se doucher, se brosser, s'habiller, and se coucher. So an example here is, for example, nous levons. So you can have two nous because remember, one nous represents the subject pronoun, the other nous represents the reflexive verb or pronoun. So nous levons, we're getting ourselves up, and tu te brosses les cheveux, you're washing your own hair. So steps to conjugating reflexive or pronominal verbs. First, you have to take the reflexive pronoun se. It's already going to be there with the verb. For example, using se brosser, the reflexive pronoun se is already there, but in order to make it agree with the subject of the verb, you have to change it or you have to conjugate it. So say if we're talking about nous, like the subject pronoun is nous, then the reflexive pronoun se has to change into the reflexive pronoun which matches nous, which is nous. And so then you attach it in front of the verb. The verb here is levant. In front of it would be before it. So the se lever in this example would become nous levons assis. Conjugate, and then step 2 is conjugate the infinitive according to whether it's E-R-I-R-R-E or irregular verbs. So this part I'm just talking about the verb itself, like obviously the lever. Like here we talked about the se part, so the reflexive pronoun part. Here we're talking about the verb, so you have to conjugate that. And we talked about conjugations in our first couple of lessons in French. So the final answer would be nous levons à 6 heures. And here are some practice questions for you. Some of them have the verb conjugated and some of them don't. Some of them need you to conjugate both parts. So for example, here with the first question, je something, the verb you're using or the reflexive verb you're using is s'habiller à 6 heures. Est-ce qu'il, so il is the subject pronoun, and the reflexive verb you're using is se raser. Marie se maquillait beaucoup. Nous something s'amusait chaque jour. Pourquoi tu ne something pas? And the reflexive verb you're using is se préparer pour l'école. Remember, here you have a ne pas. It doesn't make a difference in the work you're doing, but it's just there for you to know. Here, for number 6, it's je something se brosser les dents chaque jour. Elle something s'habiller rapidement. So here you see that this is futur simple. It was our last lesson. And you can even have reflexive verbs just like you have them in present tense, come like these first couple of questions for you are in present tense. You can also have reflexive verbs in past tense and in future tenses and stuff like that. So this was our reflexive verbs lesson for today. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.